There's lots of potential for things to go wrong today. Not only have we got a sprint weekend in Canada, but we've got rain for the sprint and the race. Wonderful news. Hello folks, welcome to episode 61 of the Mercedes Career Mode here on F1 Manager. My name's Aaron. I'm the manager of Mercedes. That kind of explains itself. We are gearing up for the Canadian Grand Prix today, sprint weekend, and as I said in the intro, I hope you packed your coats because we've got rain Saturday and rain on Sunday, and a 75% historic chance of a safety car. So loads of stuff that could go wrong. Thankfully, qualifying will be in the dry, so hopefully we'll just be on the front row and disappear into the distance like we have done in some previous races this season. So we've got a big lead in the Constructors' Championship, and there's a 1 point difference in our drivers, who are first and second in the Drivers' Championship. And 5 races to go. No more team orders really, unless, like in Monza, it was for the benefit of the team. If we've not got a big lead and we just need to protect the positions, then we'll do it. Where possible, we're just going to let them fight. So I'm going to go and do the one and only practice session that we're allowed to do before qualifying. And hopefully we can get a good setup. Alright, checking in quickly with you before qualifying. We've not really got a handle on the setup. We've got a best satisfaction of 92% for Lewis. We made a couple of tweaks to it. George Russell may have run out of fuel on the circuit because we wanted to get all the development feedback before bringing him into the pit lane, so his best is 58%. This kind of looks right to me, but the reason I'm checking in with you is because we're going to need to take a grid drop, and it's going to be because we need to have a new ERS part. So our car part attributes here shows us the wear point where we'll start losing performance from the ERS, which is 59.5%. We're going to need to use this for practice later on in the season because this one here isn't going to last. So we're going to need to take a penalty anyway. We might as well do it here where we can collect a few extra points in the sprint, and we're going to come through anyway, I think, with the performance of the car. So we're going to put that on the car and have a grid drop for both drivers at the same time. We'll have to go and sort out the rest of the parts as well. That was jumping around there. So I will do that and get the cars into Q3. Lewis has actually got low driver confidence because of the lack of setup knowledge. But I'll see you in Q3. Alright then, Lewis Hamilton leading the way for Mercedes as we do our first flying laps. Verstappen slightly in the way there on the pit lane exit. Has he? I think he might have got out of the way for George Russell quite nicely there. Russell with a personal best of 21.0. Hamilton probably losing a 10th. Albon on a 10.2, finding his pace again. Here comes Lewis Hamilton. Then middle sector is a personal best of 21.6. 21.6 for George Russell. Let's avoid the wall of champions then, please, lads. We have done with Lewis Hamilton and with George Russell. Hamilton only goes third, half second off of Leclerc. Russell nips in with P3, so we're not quite as quick as I hoped we'd be over a single lap. We might need to play a little bit tactically in the final runs and try and get a bit of a slipstream. Because we've had to let traffic through, we've ended up with Lewis Hamilton right behind his teammates. So I'm going to ask them not to fight. I mean, this could be a really messy final lap. Lance Stroll, by the way, is currently on pole position. Here we go then. We're currently 5th and 6th, and the way our two cars have ended up on track, I don't think we're going to improve a huge amount here, or Hamilton's going to get the toe of a century. We are improving in the first sector though. Hamilton slightly faster. Has Verstappen made the flag? He has. Stroll and Albon are currently finished. So Stroll will be hoping that, well, Leclerc has completed a lap, I think, and hasn't gone faster. Norris goes quicker than us. Hamilton, though, has set a purple middle sector. There's Leclerc, who's getting in the way a little bit. George Russell might be about to inadvertently tow his teammate all the way up the grid here. The 21.4 versus a 21.6 in the middle sector for Lewis Hamilton. George Russell doesn't improve. Lewis Hamilton only 5th. We are absolutely in the mud, and Verstappen might be about to go faster. He's set 3 personal bests. He splits the Mercedes, and now is Ocon going 4th. We're 6th and 7th for the sprint. Wow, I did not think we'd be that far down the grid. Lance Stroll has another pole position, and he has it on home soil. What a wacky grid. Wow, but then there's a whole heap of grid penalties as well. So this is going to be one madly mixed up grid. Look at Perez down there in 17th. Sheesh. Alright, well, that's the drama already kicking off. How about some more in a sprint with heavy rain? It's wet for the sprint, hence the coat. We're starting on full wet tyres, so it's a very simple strategy. Put them on and go. I'm not going to change the fuel. I'm just going to do the strategy on the fly, I suppose, because there is no strategy in a sprint race. It's make as many positions as you can. Alright, it's a very soggy Montreal. Memories of 2011 are abound. It was a very short hold, and we are immediately making a move with Lewis Hamilton past Carlos Sainz. George Russell looking to make a move on Max Verstappen as well. The camera is very close to the cars. I'm not comfortable with that. What's happening at the front? Charles Leclerc has taken the lead. We're up to P5. Has everyone started on? What on earth is this? Why are they all on inters? What's the rain going to do? Okay, it's going to... The rain's going to slow down. We need to make hay while the sun isn't shining, because we're on the wrong damn tyres. Right, driving clean air, Lewis. And you, George. That would explain why we were so fast off the start. We're on the wrong tyres. We need to really push. We're going to be so in the mud. It's unbelievable. Here goes Lewis Hamilton looking for a way past Albon and finding it. Can we get the other guys before the rain eases up? Albon's coming back through. I think we've made that one stick. We need to get Ocon as well. Deary me, what a palaver this is. It doesn't show you the weather forecast before the race, so you just have to kind of hope you're on the right tyres. And the fact that it just put us on wets, I assumed everyone would start on wets. Here we go then, 19th and 20th. And we're the team at the top of the championship standings. Right, let's see what we can make out of this. We're just closing out lap 10, and Lewis Hamilton has started to make some progress. He's up to 17th. George Russell just about catching the back of the pack now. I suppose we could probably push with the fuel because we are recovering that pretty nicely. We've just got to attack on the tyres. The AI's tyres are not much worse for wear than us, but we've got a job to do, positions to make. Have we turned George's aggression back up? We have not. Get him driving in clean air as well. Start making some moves with him. We've got 10 laps left in this sprint. We're only 15th and 19th. Russell has not made much progress at all. He's only just passed Gasly, who's having a rotten weekend so far. Off the high of his podium in Monza. Hamilton is now on the back of Perez. Can we find a way through? Let's balance on the fuel because we don't want to run out of fuel. Hamilton up the inside, making it look very easy. What's Russell up to? He's not making much progress. Hamilton, we've seen in seasons gone by in Canada, can do very well. I think so far has he had a grid penalty or started out of position every time we've come to Canada? If I think back to season 1, he had the collision with Alonso the race before, so we took a grid drop. I think last year he had a grid penalty as well. So he started, but I think, no, he finished last in the sprint, didn't he? So he started right at the back because we ran out of fuel. Hopefully there's some dry running during the race and we can start making some progress through DRS, because this is just painful. At the front, Charles Leclerc's winning, which will do his confidence the world of good. At this rate, Russell is going to start plumb last, and Hamilton will be starting just a couple of places ahead of him. Hamilton now up to P12 and pressing on. Hamilton's now in the top 10. He is having a really stirring fight back. He loves it in Canada, and he is showing us exactly how good he can be around Canada. Right now he will get no points for this effort. Kevin Magnussen is the last point scorer, and he is still some 5 seconds ahead. Hamilton might yet snatch a point, which would bring the two drivers level in the championship standings and then have them starting towards the back. I mean, I definitely haven't done this on purpose. I promise I haven't done this on purpose. For a narrative, it's great. Hamilton has just got into P9 and we are a few minutes away from heavy rain. The track is about to get very, very wet. We can push here. We've got 2 laps to go. Russell still only 14th and making not particularly huge amounts of progress, although he's just gone around the outside of Sargent there. Lovely stuff. Lewis Hamilton could be about to snatch a very important championship point. I mean, think what you like about points in sprint races. As Charles Leclerc starts the final lap, is Lewis going to be able to snatch that final points paying position from Kevin Magnussen as the rain falls? No DRS, of course. I think he's going for it. Lewis Hamilton is going to make it level pegging in the championship before the Canadian Grand Prix, because he's just mugged Kevin Magnussen. George Russell's finally finding his overtaking mojo. Hamilton, though, is going to level the scores heading into the Grand Prix as Charles Leclerc wins. Ocon finishes second, Stroll third, Albon fourth, and Hamilton's going to take a vital point. He's blocking Magnussen as hard as he can, and he takes that point, which levels up the championship standings. George Russell 11th. I'm not sure where we're going to end up starting. I'm pretty sure Russell will be last. And Hamilton, if it's 10 places, I think if it is for the first one, will be 18th. What a mess that was in the end. Wrong tyres, rain, no DRS to help us. I mean, a point, I suppose, is okay. Lots of work to do then if we're going to get anything significant out of this race in Montreal. I believe at some point in the sprint I said the game doesn't show you the weather before the race. I was wrong, I just didn't look. I could probably have worked it out from that. So we do know that there is going to be rain towards the end of this race, hence soft inter for the strategy. I've underfueled the cars. We'll take another lap out of Hamilton there. It's a big old recovery job. We're starting 14th and 17th, and just remember they're level on points at the start of this race, so it's all to play for. Whoever finishes ahead comes out probably with the lead of the championship with 4 races left to go. So this is a crucial race. Let's do a motor race. There's a McLaren on pole position. I think Leclerc had a grid penalty, so Ocon starts on pole, and we're somewhere back here. Let's follow the front. Russell is immediately passing Hamilton by the look of it. Hamilton's had a terrible start. He's gone back 2 places. He's hung on to the position against Russell. Ocon holds the lead. There's Verstappen in P4. He must be the favourite to win this race. But Stroll and Albon were quick in qualifying. Let's see what's going on with our race. We're mired in the midfield by the look of it. So lots to do in terms of getting these drivers forward. DRS is now active and we might be about to make our first bit of progress. Terpelshare, I think,
don't sweat it,
doesn't have DRS here. So hopefully Perez will go through and we'll be able to follow him at some point. Or Hamilton might be about to send it. He's not. But this being stuck in this DRS train is not going to help us. Can we sneak up the inside of Porsche? Now that the Ferrari has gone through. Looks like, oh, we've pinched it. Yes, there we go. Through goes Hamilton. Job done. George Russell will need to follow his teammate by as well. And Hamilton immediately passing Perez. So once you get one, you're going to get the other. We were deploying there as well, which helped. So now we can start making some progress. Let's crack on with our race. Hamilton trying to pass Logan Sargent. Up the inside of the hairpin. Don't mind if we do. Job done. And Russell doing exactly the same thing on Perez. So we are starting to make some moves. You'll see in the background here, Russell doing exactly the same move as Hamilton. Synchronized overtaking at Mercedes. Lovely stuff. And we are making progress through this field. The next victim of ours is Lando Norris. Well, it didn't take Lewis very long to get past Lando. He did it at the hairpin, and Russell has also dispatched Sargent. So we are making rapid progress here. Lap 7 of 70. We finished the first lap 15th and 16th. We're now 11th and 12th. Hamilton round the outside. He needs to push to get clear as Russell is about to just shove his way through as well. I think that might give Hamilton enough breathing space. Although Russell is going to be coming at him here. This might be George Russell's moment where he passes Lewis Hamilton for the first time this weekend. Here we go. George Russell down the outside. He moves ahead of Lewis Hamilton. A crucial move in the World Championship picture. Hamilton fighting it back, but I'm sure they're going to be swapping positions pretty regularly from here on in to the rest of the race. Let's see where we are. Well, we're about 4 laps away from the pit stop, so I'll check back in with you then. Pit stop time then for Lewis Hamilton. George Russell had just got ahead of him, but Hamilton was always going to be in first. 2.7 second stop for the number 44, and he's going to drop back in 14th position, in between the two Alfa Romeos. Also Leclerc, who was one of the lead drivers, is a little bit further up the road. George Russell now passing Kevin Magnussen. Or is he under pressure from Magnussen? I think he's under pressure from Magnussen. Has the Haas stopped? No, he's just on better tyres, that's why. And Russell now into the pit lane himself, followed by the other Haas of Ollie Behrman. What's the pit stop like for George? 2.5 seconds. We've never seen that at Mercedes. That might be all the difference to get him ahead of Hamilton. Whoa, they're side by side there. That was really close. But he does pop out just behind him. The undercut proving just powerful enough. So we're going to get driving in clean air again. We've got a virtual safety car here. I was just having a look to see when the rain was going to arrive. And Jack Doohan, who was giving us a hard time earlier on, has had an accident. He's ploughed into the back of, I think, Yuki Tsunoda. And that's the pair of them out of the race. George Russell's actually gone backwards a little bit here after the virtual safety car restart. He's been overtaken by Valtteri Bottas. He's setting that straight. But Hamilton has gone the other way and moved ahead of Pierre Gasly and is just under 3 seconds behind Carlos Sainz, who we were battling before the first round of pit stops. Regarding the rain, it's not changed a whole great deal. It's coming around lap 45-46, so we're going to have to keep an eye on the amount of water that drops. We need to keep these tyres in good shape. But as you see by this graph, tyres are in good condition. So we could go a little bit further than our planned stop. And that will help us enormously. Because if the rain doesn't come heavily enough, we need to be able to go a bit further. Well, George Russell has put on a bit of burst of speed here and overtaken Lewis Hamilton once again. He now has 10th position, which is a championship point. They are closing in on Magnussen, who hasn't stopped. Let's just have a look at the tyres a second. Hamilton round the... Oh, they've crashed! I don't believe it! Oh, dearie me. There's been a collision at Mercedes. Unbelievable. Oh, dear. It's just Hamilton turned in and then
all the tyres on.
George
Doesn't feel right.
was still there. That really wasn't particularly good. George is going to... Have we got another front wing to put on him? We have. We've got 3 front wings left. So, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's obviously not very good. We're just going to... Right, here's what we're going to do. Investigation, Hamilton and Russell, no penalties given. Right, okay, so here's what we're going to do. No fighting the teammate, because we need to make sure we get through this traffic without tripping over each other. That really wasn't smart. We have got rain falling in Canada. Lewis Hamilton has moved up to P7. George Russell is now in P9. It's not wet enough yet to go to inters, but we could do a lot of damage here by timing this right. We're going to be aggressive on the tyres, keep the temperature in them. It's just about pitting at the right time. If we can get an undercut on everybody else, that would be fantastic. Verstappen is in. He will be going to inters, I'm sure. Ocon is coming in as well. Just going to pop the intermediates on now. George, let's give him the new front wing. It's going to be a painful stop for him. 10 seconds. We've actually come out behind Verstappen.
We're going to box for a new set of inters.
Who's on a set of inters.
Box.
I think if we deploy on this lap and go aggressive on our tyres, we can actually overtake him quickly. Here he goes. Lewis Hamilton passing Max Verstappen. There we go. But we're going to have to give up the position to go into the pit lane. Let's get round to the pit lane and see how it all shakes out. Leclerc's had a pit stop issue. That's going to hand Verstappen the lead. Track is now down. That overhead was definitely the wrong way around considering the pit lane orientation. Russell, 8.5 seconds. So not a disastrously slow stop. But I thought we might as well get the wing on him. Oh, Hamilton slightly off the road there. What was going on? That was not ideal.
Just need to make sure we keep these tyres in
Russell comes out in 10th, so that's not too bad actually, all things considered. Let's get him deploying and going quickly. But Hamilton might be about to make a move here on Carlos Sainz and take 6th position. That's very important for him in the championship fight. Okay, let's see what Lewis can do in terms of catching Stroll and Ocon and Albon. Minimum we aim for a podium with Lewis, and with George we've got to try and get him in the top 5. Hamilton going up the inside here of Stroll. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he can. We've got him deploying and attacking on the tyres to do that move. I think we'll have to do something similar here with George Russell to get him past Sergio Perez. Are we driving in clean air? We are not. We can take the don't fight teammate off because they're not together at the moment. Hamilton now setting about Esteban Ocon. I'll check back in with you once George has got past Perez, unless he's going to do it now. No, he's not. Well, it didn't take very long. He passed him at the hairpin. And now he's chasing Lando Norris. So we can attack a bit on the tyres. There's only 15 laps to go at the end of this one, so we've got plenty of tyre in hand. We don't obviously want to overheat them because that slows you down. Hamilton is within a second of the other McLaren, so McLaren might be about to lose a pair of positions to Mercedes. Hamilton is right on the back of Ocon here. We need to get him driving in clean air to make this overtake. Tyres are getting quite warm. We have used all of the battery now. Because of the lack of battery, we've lost all of that time that we gained. Russell has made the move on Norris though. Obviously into the hairpin, as you can see. Well, it actually starts at the chicane and he's going to have finished it off at the hairpin. There we go. Round the outside. Don't crash on the exit, George. Done that before. And that's the position gained. Alright, 10 laps to go. Hamilton still hasn't passed Ocon. Russell has actually dropped back from Sainz, although his tyres were overheating. We did keep attacking with both drivers. The tyres just got too hot basically, and that's really hurt our pace. Ocon is in the, Albon's in the 19s. That's why Hamilton's been able to close up. We might be able to get past here. We've got extra fuel, so if we can start pushing with the fuel, we could start making up some ground and deploying the battery. Got Hamilton attacking on the tyres. We're on to lap 62. Podium is starting to slip away. Ocon is not particularly quick right now. He's now 3 seconds behind Albon, who's just on a 17.7. Can Hamilton get past Ocon here? Driving in clean air with deploying with the battery down the outside, late on the brakes, and through goes Hamilton. Job done. Now, can we get him to catch Albon? Russell really needs to get a move on and catch Sainz, otherwise he's going to lose an awful lot of points in this race. Honestly, I thought giving him the replacement wing would be the right thing to do, but maybe we should have just stuck with the broken one and he'd have maybe been here around Stroll. Anyway, what's done is done now, and Hamilton's made the progress. Russell hasn't, in particularly making his way through the field. So right, we've reached lap 65 and Hamilton is only a second behind Albon, and he's quicker than the leaders by a second a lap. Stroll is now the car Russell is chasing, but Hamilton could still potentially win this race if we just go for it. I mean, let's push. Let's see. We've got to get past Albon first, and then it's 5 seconds to the Red Bulls, so it's very unlikely. But what if these two collide? Then there's a real chance. Can we get past Albon is the big question. We need to deploy with the battery. We are super close. I'm going to jump on board for this one. We're driving in clean air. We need to be.
Pull to one side in places, that will help.
We don't make it through just yet. Let's get to the hairpin. Here we go. I think we're going to sneak up the inside into the hairpin. Albon has no defence now because Hamilton's there. He's got the apex. And through goes Lewis Hamilton. We ran out of battery though to do it. George, we might as well attack on the tyres with you and try and close the gap to Stroll. Is Albon coming back through? Doesn't look like it. So, Hamilton onto the podium. Can we catch a Red Bull? Red Bull have not won since round 5 of the season, which was Jeddah, and it was Charles Leclerc. They're now duking it out. Verstappen's leading. He hasn't won since round 3 of the season, and really it's my own mistakes that have handed this to Red Bull. We should not have been where we were for the sprint. We should have been starting sort of 10th, maybe 10th and 11th, but we ended up on the wrong tyres. But still, we're going to have at least one car on the podium. Russell is catching the Aston Martin ahead of him. Half a second last time around. Hamilton's taken some time out of the Red Bulls here, who are still nose to tail. I don't think we'll get there, but we might as well give it a go. So good news here for George Russell is that he's caught Lance Stroll, and Stroll is right behind Carlos Sainz. So if he can get one, he might be able to get the other. Hamilton at the front
Pretty hot, mate.
is now within 3 seconds of the Red Bulls, but there is only 2 laps to go. For George, he needs to make this move very quickly to make it, to get anything really substantial out of this race. And even then, a P6 versus a P3 is not particularly useful. It's just starting to dry out a little bit towards the end of the race here. Hamilton, Charles Leclerc has just snatched the lead from Max Verstappen, who isn't having any of it. Hamilton is just cruising up to the back of this pair as Russell does overtake Stroll. We missed that, but he's done it at Jensen Button corner. If you know, you know. And we avoided being taken out by the Aston Martin as well on the exit. Can Russell get past Carlos Sainz? He probably will. Hamilton, oh, it's 2 seconds. It's so close. And Hamilton is going to have to settle for 3rd place here, I think. Russell is not close enough to Sainz to get the move done. So it's a victory for Red Bull, but we came this close to still beating them on race day. Lewis Hamilton finishes in 3rd place and takes the lead in the Drivers' Championship. George Russell could only manage 7th in a race where we collided. The drivers were allowed to fight and they collided. George suffered the damage.
Okay, so we've taken the flag.
And the change of wing set him back. So them's the brakes, I suppose. And it was the wing that broke. So George Russell has to settle for P7 and loses. What is that? 15 points for Hamilton. That is 6 points for Russell. So it's a 9-point swing in Lewis Hamilton's favour. All good things do have to come to an end. Charles Leclerc now has 2 wins as a Red Bull driver. He's beaten Max Verstappen in a straight fight today. He's actually come from 7th on the grid to do it. That's impressive in itself. Hamilton up 11 places. Russell up 10. Albon beaten to the podium, but does get the consolation of the fastest lap. What was the score down here with everybody else? Gasly made some progress. Haas, in true Haas style, just went backwards. Let's see what it does for the Constructors' Championship. We lose quite a lot of points to Red Bull, considering I think they won the sprint, didn't they? So they have taken, what's that, 32 points out of our championship lead. We still lead by 135 points, so I suppose it's fine. Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton takes the lead back from George Russell. It is 9 points the gap. Hamilton outscoring his teammate by 10 points this weekend, and now has more podiums than George, has more pole positions. Yeah, I think based on those stats you can see in the bottom right corner, Lewis being in the lead is probably a fair reflection of the season now. If you enjoyed that crazy Canada weekend, make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on the video for me. Subscribe to the channel for more F1 Manager content. And remember, you're the best fans. I'll see you in the next round. It's goodbye for now.